Coach, last week, I thought you guys had somewhat of a promising game, not the outcome that you wanted. But you guys are going into Miami against a team that got smacked around pretty bad, so they're obviously going to come out very tough for you. What's the mentality you're trying to bring into with your guys down to South Beach?
A mentality of embrace the challenge. I think we've had that every week, though. I think I've never questioned the mentality of the group. I think in every away game we've gone with a mentality of really attacking the game. And we were pleased with elements, and I've said this before, but we were pleased with elements of the Cincinnati game. I said after on my press, it was night and day from going there last year. It's a difficult place. And we've had some positive performances in Miami as well, whether it be Noche Dior or the draw that we feel we should have won. So really difficult place. A team obviously that's stacked with quality, but the mentality in training this week has been really positive. Obviously frustrated, huge drive, but I think elements of the performance that we've worked on, but just a huge desire to execute a result really.
Coach, you obviously, MLS can be a forgiving league, especially early on in the campaign, but you also don't want to dig too big of a hole for yourself early. Is this an essential game where this team has to be able to get some points from it?
I think we felt like that in the Cincinnati game. I think every time we go on the road, because of our away record, it's a huge desire and a huge focus is to execute a result, because we know our away record is one where it is, but also, we want to solidify league position. We want a strong home record and we want a better away record. So every time we don't get the result, the desire and the hunger just builds. And I see that in the players. And we've said this week, tactically and physically, those are huge elements of football, but executing results is one thing that we have a huge frustration with, but a huge desire to improve and to execute.
Roberto?
There was a lot of players absent today via injury and also via national team call-ups. Can you tell us who's going to be available and what the situation is with Burke Risa, and also the reports about Christian McFarland possibly being sold to Manchester City? If you can update us on those.
A lot of questions, huh?
Yeah.
let me pick them apart. So first one, players that are available. So we don't have all of our players back from international duty, but we don't have any negative or any reports that there's been anything picked up on international duty. Obviously, Jovan and Munsef, we're still waiting on full reports. We're still waiting on them to return, but I got a chance to watch a lot of our players. I got reports on Christian McFarland, who's with England. I watched Munsef, I watched Jovan. Micha is back with us. So out of all those players, we're still waiting on some, but I expect them all to be available. Tavon returned and trained. Kevin O'Toole is still in concussion protocol, so he's working through that. We're hoping that will be positive, and he hasn't failed one of the steps yet, but there's still many steps to go. So, and we'll also work with the doctors and to see whether it is the right decision to put him in a game. Hasn't trained this week. Burke Risa hasn't trained because he came off in the game. He's getting pain in his lower leg. It's a foot injury that he's getting pain in. We don't feel like it's a major injury, but it is pain dependent. It's nothing that requires any treatment, surgery or anything. So it's not severe, but it's pain dependent, and you can see he can't finish the game against Cincinnati. So we're going through that process of whether he is managed through a pain tolerance program or whether he needs to be offloaded to really, to reduce the amount. It's really simple. Do we play him 55, 60, 75, 80 minutes and push him to what he can do? Or do we offload him so that we can get him fully? And we're working through that. We're in that process with no final decision on it. But he didn't train today, so that's not positive. Christian McFarland, that's new to me. So he is returning from England duty and will be in the squad for Miami. And with Kevin O'Toole out, potentially it's a huge opportunity for him. But we'll work through that. It's really difficult to say whether a guy is going to start a game or play parts in the game when he is 3,000 miles away playing for his country. So when he comes back, we'll see what condition he's in, what mentality he's in, and we'll work through. But he's a really valuable member of our squad, and without him, we only have one left back. So in my opinion, he's going nowhere.
Thank you.
Mohammed with the exchange. So two questions. We saw Tallis back today in training a little bit. What's his status? And then also, you mentioned about the international breaks. Have you watched any of the games, and what's your thoughts on the players that were called up later?
Yeah, so Tellez was out on the grass, which is hugely positive. He wasn't with the team though, so I think that's going to be one that is ongoing. It's the same. You can see out there he's on the ball, he's running, but he's not fit to go in the squad yet. He's still working through that. So I leave him with the medical guys. He's in good spirits, but we just need to work through his process. He won't be available. Yeah, I watch all the players because I fully support them on international duty. And their success is our success. Our culture here is built on trying to build a group that has clear goals and clear success, and through that you will get your individual success. And I think Munsef is a good example of that. I watched his game, came in yesterday on 30 minutes, good assist, but he should score. And I think he'll know that'll be the first thing that I will say to him. But I think it's the fact that he's coming into those goal chances at that level is a huge positive for him, and one that he should really embrace as a real positive and use it as fuel to continue working. Jovan played the first game, missed the second game, and then played the next one. For Jovan we want to get him in the number 9 and get him scoring goals. And I haven't spoken to him, so I will see what his mentality is like coming back and his how he feels after international. Great for Micha because they got positive results. So I think for Micha, it's he has a huge desire to succeed with his national team with the 21s. And I think I was speaking to him before. I think some of the results went for them. An Austrian draw went for them as well, so it puts them in a really good spot. Christian was pleased with the first game. I had a report on him yesterday. They had a really difficult game against France, which I think is a really good exercise for Christian to play in a game of that level, and one that we'll go through the clips with him and we'll support him on it. Thomas Romero didn't play in the first game, and I will go through it with him to see how that worked for him. Tavon, obviously we watched. He came on in the USA game, and then he came on in the second game. I support all the guys on international duty. I think it's been positive for them. Of course, I would rather have them in a game that we play in, but when they go away on international duty, it's a huge positive for us that they get that recognition.
Great. So onto the Zoom. Oliver?
Hi, thank you. This is Oliver Strand with Hudson River Blue. I have a question about Matt Freese. He had a very strong game against Cincinnati with 5 saves. And he's had a series of strong games, but also grabs the way that it was last year, or is it comfortably his?
I lost you a little bit, but I think the question that you're asking was is he the number 1? I think as you see now, Matt is in there, and probably selection would show that Matt is the number 1 at the moment, but comfortably his. I think he plays every game, so I would probably say he's the guy that has the shirt. The one thing I will say is it's really difficult for me to sit here and say yes, Matt is the number 1 and he's just always going to be in, because Luis Barraza has been excellent. In many ways, he's training really hard. He's really pushing Matt close. And in the locker room, in difficult situation, and in a moment when the team really needs leadership, Luis has been excellent. I couldn't give Luis enough praise in the presence that he has in the group, because in difficult moments, we need leadership, and Luis is right at the forefront of that.
Great. Michael Andrew?
Nick, Mike Andrew, Blue City Radio. Along the same lines of Anthony's question, obviously you want to win every game. Can you tell us if you've had benchmarking conversations with David Lee or Brad about when the results in that process conversation has to be more on the results side?
I think we consistently and we continuously talk about that. I think, we obviously review performance. We go through the good. I get real honest feedback, whether it be from David or Brad or from the leadership of CFG. I always have and always will. I request that. But I think, you know, when you go 4-1, you start to talk about how the team needs to execute results, and that, you know, I think that's a great way of explaining it or putting it is, you know, you got to make sure that the hole isn't dug too deep, because, you know, the reality is literally can become a hole. So you can be buried in it. So I think for us, it's about, we're there. We've spoke to the team about, we have to be a team that can execute results, and we have to become a team and grow into a team that has the maturity and the experience to execute a result, whether it be 1-0 down, 1-0 up against Portland and under pressure at home, where you can close the game out with 5 minutes to go, or whether you are 0-0 against Cincinnati on 55, 60, 65 minutes, and you can get a result based off the fact that you are in the game. You know, we're always going to judge tactics. We're always going to look at physical numbers. We're always going to look at data. But actually, just being a team that can go and execute a result, whether it's a good day or a bad day, is probably the most important thing. And I think we understand where we are on the journey of that, and we are trying to accelerate the process with a new team, with players that maybe haven't played so much for NYCFC, but the likes of Maxi Morales and Thiago Martins and Burke Reese and these real leadership guys, along with the support staff, are the guys that will really embrace that challenge and push the team. I've said before, you know, no good team was ever built without hard times, and we have to embrace that.
Yes, hi. Thanks, Coach. This is Michael Allen with Prost America here. I'm just wondering, just considering all of the complications with Burke Risa and his fitness and stuff like that, do you have any reaction to the reports that Maxime Chanot is coming back to LAFC? And was there any attempt by New York to get him to come back to the club here?
Well, the Burke Risa injury was, or the Burke Risa problem has been over the last 10 days. And the Maxime Chanot story that you're talking about, they just showed me about 3 seconds before I came into the press conference. So
glad to be relevant. Glad to be relevant.
No, of course, it's a relevant question, but ultimately, the first thing I seen was about 10 seconds ago. So I don't know enough about that story. I don't know enough about the situation, but for us, it's about Burke is a really important player, and it's about trying to make sure that we get a solution to getting him and his performances back in the team as quick as possible.
Kristen?
Thanks.
Hi, Coach. Inter Miami were busy again in the off season. What excites you most about the challenge that you'll face this weekend?
I think the challenge of becoming a team that can, I've said before, execute results, can get results on the road, can, you know, the challenge of going anywhere on the road for us now is the one that we really embrace. And the next place we're going is Miami. We know it's difficult. We know that they have the real plethora of talent that they have, that you know, we've been there now twice and experienced it, whether it be at the latter stage of the season or the Noche de Oro game. So we have an experience of the real theater of the occasion down there in Miami. But I think for us, it's about, you know, we have to focus on how we improve as a team, how we execute results, whether the game is ours or whether we're under pressure or however the game looks. You know, we want to control how that game looks, but sometimes you just can't control it, and you have to react to situation and have the ability to control the moments. And I think we did that in large parts in the Cincinnati game, a real difficult place to go, support Shield champions, a real Acosta in form, a team that is, you know, scoring a lot of goals from set plays, and, you know, many moments in that game against Cincinnati, I think we show that we can be competitive and cope even when the game doesn't look the way we want it to look. And on the other side, we can have good possession, we can create good opportunities. I thought our pressing in the game was excellent, but we have to control those moments where it is mentality, it is about team, it is about how you cope in the moments where you just go and execute a result.
Great. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
God, they all let me down. I always fought just to wear the crown. I'm off at these fucking clowns who were all taught they deserve an ounce. It's only worth it if you work for it. It's only worth it if you work for it. I won't stop till they hear me now. I won't stop till I wear the crown.